Was John Elway actually good at his job? Because my my feeling says no. And I'm going to tell you guys what I have, some information I have, and I want to hear from both of you. And I think this hits home, especially for one Craig Brooks, because I will speak very glowingly and very positively about one Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks of our generation.
As you should.
And I may not speak very glowingly of one of the greatest quarterbacks of the prior generation, John Elway, in a managerial sense. So my question is, John Elway good at his job? From 2012 to 2015, we'll call those the Manning years. They went 50-24, won multiple AFC championships, and won a Super Bowl. Appeared in 2, won 1. It's very good.
Very good.
Most people would be thrilled with that.
Quit.
That would be, I would call the Kansas City type. If Kansas City does that for 3 years, everyone in Kansas City is going to be very happy all the time, super pumped.
Cream their jeans. Yeah, gotcha.
Correct. 2016 to present. So as of last season, they are 27-37 for a total of, in that time, in his tenure as GM and vice president of football operations or some shit like that. It's not a real position.
What is that?
77-51. So this man had over a 70% win percentage when Peyton Manning was his quarterback / Brock Osweiler, but we'll talk about that in a second. And from 2016 to present, he is 10 games under 500. What, first of all, can we blame John Elway, Craig, for this drop off? I'm curious what you think, because he went out and he got maybe the greatest football quarterback in the game at that moment in time.
Right.
And then that guy obviously had to leave the game, as it will happen to all quarterbacks at some point in time.
14 neck fusions or whatever they were doing.
Right. So can we blame John Elway for this? Give me your quick take, because I have more information.
It's a quick yes, because when you're the GM or whatever made up level you are, you do have some input on drafting. So I liken him to Natalie Imbruglia. She's a one hit wonder.
Yeah,
your one hit wonder. Torn is very good.
Such a good song.
Very good song.
Awesome song. Yeah.
See, everybody loves it. Everyone knows it. It's 25 years old. That's the end of it, though. And I think he's proving that that's it. And he's made a lot of uh-ohs that you're about to give us a few more of.
We're going to talk about that. So I would say, as kind of to foil you slightly, playing devil's advocate, in that 2012 to 2015, they're not picking high. They're not picking in the high 10s, the teens. They're picking at the end of that first round. And some of those drafts were not as deep as one would have liked. Is that a defense for him at all, do you think? Or is his job as a GM, and I should also mention, he had final say in all football decisions. So he was the one making draft picks and going, yes, get that guy. Right. Is that a valid excuse?
No, I don't think so. I don't know if you have this in front of you. There were other quarterbacks in the year that yeah. So I know it's going to be a name or two that's better than what he ended up choosing. So that's what I mean. Like, and these moments in a GM, or again, whatever the hell he is, these are the defining moments when you have that big pick to make. So to your point, those years when they were good, whatever, there's people that pull gems out of every facet of the draft, and the best of the best can get them in the late first round, second round, sixth round. It's all about assessing talent. Just because you were a very good quarterback and hence knew other quarterbacks, because that's literally a club of few humans.
It's true.
That is really not the credential to be excellent at whole team creation and whole team management.
Mike, I want to come to you on this because you haven't gotten to speak about it yet. What is your feeling on this topic?
I was just a little bit upset because when Craig was starting to make his torn reference, I thought he was just going to use that to say that he's torn, not that he was a one-hit wonder, and he was just going to start saying, I'm torn. And it didn't happen, and I'm still just kind of processing that. But no, I mean, it's really kind of difficult to like quantify like the feelings on it, because yes, he came in and they had results, but it's one of those things. Do you look at it as being like John Gruden taking over Tony Dungy's Bucks? Like, though that's a head coaching comparison, do you really give John Gruden all of the credit for that team winning the Super Bowl, or was that the team that was built by Tony Dungy? You know, so was he riding the coattails of the?
Not even
was he
question.
riding? I know. Was he riding the coattails of those who came before him, got success by getting Manning, and kind of just kept it rolling for a little while? And now we're kind of seeing what he is, because that's what it feels like. It feels like now we just know what he is, and it's like
did he draft Vaughn? I don't know
not.
if he. I didn't think so.
He did not.
Vaughn, like if he had a moment, though his moment is bringing Peyton.
So
again,
and that's
he
what
waved a bunch of pizza franchises at him and said, "Come on over here, man."
And that's kind of my point: is signing a quarterback that was who transformed the game into what it is today. And it's obviously advanced since that point, but those checks at the line, multiple hot routes, like different things, giving quarterback that autonomy was one of the things that Peyton was known for. And was it really a difficult decision to try and go out and sign this guy when your prior quarterback was Tim Tebow?
No. What realistically, like, if he wants to kind of keep his job and actually get the Broncos on the right ship, for me, what I noticed from him is he's really good at evaluating what quarterbacks are doing currently. So in other words, he's really good at what we do. He's not really good at evaluating quarterbacks when it comes to them and their potential.
So the three of us could be the GM for the Denver Broncos.
Well, here's the thing.
Perform slightly better.
Here's the thing.
In the recent past.
No. Because right now you have Drew Lock, and didn't they just trade for Teddy Bridgewater?
They did.
So
it's not that exciting.
Your quarterback situation is overall still not good. Mm-mm. If you're given the opportunity to go out and trade right now for a top quarterback who is in their prime, and you know that they're really good,
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers isn't the only one, too. You just have to worry about the legal issues when it comes to Deshaun Watson, who says he does not want to be in Houston.
Who wants to be in Houston?
I mean, but no,
anyway.
That's the thing is, can he make another deal happen where he just goes ahead and gets that guy? And is that just what he is? That might just be what he is as a GM.
But that's worth something.
I can get that guy.
If he does it twice, you're not a one-hit wonder anymore. Now you've got a second album that came out, and you get to run more. So
you're not Natalie Imbruglia, you're Vanessa Carlton. Let's go.
Ooh, very nice.
Good. Well, I will say he is no longer the general manager. This is why I kind of wanted to bring this up. He's moved on. He's now the president of whatever the hell. They're just giving him reasons to give him money. So anyway,
that passes the buck a little bit, because now it doesn't matter. He could be like, but I kept the bathrooms clean, and he keeps his job.
Correct. But this is why I kind of wanted to pull in and like do an eval of a GM that I feel like is looked at throughout the league as someone who really like had a good finger on the pulse for what the team needed and what things were doing. And I feel like nationally was spoken fairly highly of, especially during the Peyton years.
But it's like,
correct.
Because there's so many teams and so few titles.
So from 2016 to present, I want to run you through the 2016 offseason first. Peyton Manning retires. He's throwing ducks. He had a quad issue or like a bicep issue or something the whole season. And he was like, I'm done. This is too much for me. Threw ducks the entire time.
It was tough.
They went off and on with Peyton and Brock Osweiler, who in that offseason, they let leave and sign a contract somewhere else. So for a lot of money. So they started their training camp with these quarterbacks on their roster: Trevor Siemian.
That's right.
Mark Sanchez, who they traded for, and Paxton Lynch, who they drafted in the first round.
Fire.
To answer this question for me real quick, Mike, are any of those people in the NFL still?
Mark Sanchez, no. Trevor Siemian, I don't think so. Paxton Lynch, I think, might be on a practice squad.
Somewhere, exactly. So that is who they went into the season with. The following year, and the following years, they ended up trading back for Brock Osweiler, who did next to nothing in his second stint in Denver. And they had quarterbacks by the name of, in no particular order, Case Keenum, Brock Osweiler, Joe Flacco, Drew Lock, Brandon Allen, I think that's his name, Jeff Driscoll, and Philip Lindsay and Kendall Hinton. That happened this season. And now they have Teddy Bridgewater.
Philip Lindsay, I thought he's a running back.
Philip Lindsay took 4 snaps to start the game when there was a Jeff Driscoll tested positive for COVID-19 this season.
I remember they had the weirdest,
and they played a wide receiver at running back, but Lindsay took the first 4 snaps of that game. So he was technically the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos for that game.
And then they put Hinton in, and
Correct.
I'm pretty sure he went 0 for 11.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't want to look up the stat line because
I don't either.
0 for 11 is funnier in my head. So that leads me to back to my first question. Is John Elway good at his job? Did he this guy was touted as someone who knew the quarterback position, but I feel like he made the easiest decision in sports in the moment.
Whoa, wait a minute. You're downplaying the value of the convince.
Mm-hmm.
He clearly had to do some convincing. Peyton has to move, and maybe is Denver the best one? It financially wasn't. You pay less income tax in other places. So the only thing I'll give him credit for, and would have been that there was a partial negotiation in getting him there.
Right.
And that same credit, I don't know the guy's name, whoever's in Tampa Bay, right? You got some runway now. He drafted all kinds of bad pieces, talented people, but didn't work out, whatever. That's why they were there where they were.
Right.
And then Brady comes in, they win, but Brady might stay for a few more years. Peyton really was at the very, very end.
Yeah, he was riding off into the sunset.
I would say he gets a negotiator point and then all demerits after that for draft capital and things like that.
Well, some notable first round picks, or all the first round picks in John Elway's tenure. We have Shane Ray. He could be here right now. I would have no idea. Paxton Lynch, Garrett Bowles, who is actually a very good tackle. Bradley Chubb, who is fine.
He's fine. I like
Noah Fant, who could be good.
Could be something.
And Jerry Jeudy, who was just drafted last year.
He's good.
And, he's a good piece. He could be a great piece, who's to say, but
which quarterbacks were passed up for Lock?
So the Lock pick was in the second round of last year. And I don't have that draft. Because
is it could he have gotten somebody better?
No, they said he stole Drew Lock where they got him, to be honest.
Okay.
Because he's only been in the league for 2 seasons. One season he sat on the bench.
I'm going to commit to hurt. I'm giving John Elway a C+.
Mike, what would you say about John Elway? What would you grade him for his tenure as GM of the Denver Broncos?
Realistically, I would probably go C. I don't know if I'd go quite the plus, but definitely the negotiating tactics. Craig makes a really good point. Craig, by the way, your name tonight is actually David. I'm sorry.
Oh, is that going to go on?
Welcome, David.
I just noticed that, David. But no, David had a really good point in the fact that it gets the negotiating point. The negotiating point's definitely there, but I don't know, he's got drafted some good pieces, but you draft pieces that are dependent on other positions playing well, and he hasn't drafted the more important positions that are going to be what helps those skill positions play well. Garrett Bowles is great, but when your other offensive linemen can't keep your quarterback up, how great is it having one good guy when 4 others aren't up to snuff, something that the Giants have been notorious for. So I'm very familiar with that kind of situation. You can have one good offensive lineman. It doesn't really matter how good that one person is when everybody else is trash, So
his first year of drafting, he drafted Shane Ray, Ty Sambarillo, Jeff Hewerman, Max Garcia, Lorenzo Doss, Darius Kilgo, Trevor Simeon, Torrin Nixon, and Josh Furman. How many of those guys' names do you know?
2.
Yes.
Yeah. 2016.
Spillane knows more names usually. So if he doesn't even know them.
No, those are
the guy that knows the
2016,
names.
Paxton Lynch, Adam Gotsis, Justin Simmons, who is actually a good safety, Devonta Booker, backup running back for the New York Giants, Connor McGovern, Andy Janovic, Will Parks, and Riley Dixon. That was year 2. And it honestly just gets worse.
But he's moved up, you said.
Yeah, but did he deserve to move up?
Well, depends. Some teams don't get titles at all. So you got to give something. And maybe, hear me out on this. Maybe there's a super smart top person who's like actually agrees with you and goes, wow, John's kind of dog shit at drafting. but he got Peyton Manning, who doesn't like living in Colorado, to come here. Let's put him in a more business role, and maybe he can like do that and negotiate good marketing deals and get other big names to do Bronco shit and not like draft people. Maybe ownership got like that smart and be like, it's worth giving him a few extra bucks to make a good deal down the road and not touch our football field stuff.
Well,
possible.
Take us home, Mike.
I will also go ahead just because you were not sure about it. So I brought up the 2019 draft, which is when Drew Lock was taken. So essentially that year right now is looking predominantly like shit for the quarterback position. Because you had Kyler Murray go first, Daniel Jones at 6, Dwayne Haskins at 15, and then Drew Lock was the 4th one off the board in the 2nd round. After him, the only quarterback that's realistically seen the field is Gardner Minshew, who has had moments. But yeah, those moments only go so far in Jacksonville.
It's got a sweet mullet, though.
Yeah, Will Grier, Ryan Finley, Jarrett Stidham, Easton Stick, Clayton Thorson, and Trace McSorley are the other quarterbacks who were drafted that year. Easton Stick, great name.
It's a good name.
The real key is, was there any gems after the Lock pick in any position? Because then it's like, if you're really a good GM and you know that the QB crop in a year is kakapupu, you play the longer game to win.
I mean, if you want to go that route, AJ Brown and DK Metcalf were both drafted after Drew Lock.
You see, and then there you go with DK more so for me just because of his size and upside. AJ Brown.
DK. I mean, you got to look at the stats. AJ Brown's got better stats than DK.
No, you're right. You're right. I was thinking of a Baltimore Raven Brown. That is
Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood,
which is not the same. I have rookie cards of both.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
Tennessee Titan AJ Brown I've had in my keeper league since he was a rookie, because dude can ball. Dude,
yes, he can.
So that I think is another knock against John, that if he again clearly couldn't. I think you proved it, Pat. He could not draft a quarterback. He could not talent assess if you hadn't already won a title and were already like in a rare club with him. Like he could be like, that Tom Brady's pretty good. I think we should bring him over.
We should go get Aaron Rodgers.
We should get that guy.
But he wouldn't be able to look at the what do you call it? The uncut diamond, which is what the best of the best can do. They could look at those guys in college and be like, these are going to be difference makers. And not everyone with big numbers is. We know that from being fans for as many years as we had.